And we thank you for joining us. It's a problem that plagues our community more than most in Texas, domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Many victims are either afraid to speak up or emotions take over, and they recant their stories. That's why today the DA's office hosted this domestic violence summit. It's the first of its kind here in Nueces County, but it's something that needs to be tackled. Home at a time, statistics say 1 in 4 women will be a victim of domestic violence. Listen to the district attorney.
If your house is burglarized, people want to prosecute those cases. If somebody steals your car, people want to prosecute those cases. Unfortunately, with domestic violence, there's so many dynamics that are against each other. It makes it very difficult for law enforcement agencies and prosecutors to prosecute those cases.
Well, part of the solution is making sure that officers are equipped with body cams that document what happened, even if the victim takes the stand and lies. Another calls for judges taking a tough stand. Just a few weeks back, Judge Maderi told this couple that you see there in this video, who wanted a restraining order lifted between them, that she would not do it until the defendant attended programs and classes to correct some problems. Now, while many victims decide not to press charges against their abuser, there are others who feel they are not given enough protection.
Our Janine Reyes with more on that.
I keep questioning myself, what happened if I just turned right?
Gary Green unexpectedly became an advocate to stop domestic violence. It happened in an instant when his friends Patricia and David Askew died. According to police, David shot Patricia, then turned the gun on himself back in September. Gary still has a message his friend Patricia sent him days earlier. It's filled with fear. Reading that Patricia will likely get a protective order, but prosecutors thought David would try to kill her again. She had a protective order.
Because a lot of victims don't leave because they know a piece of paper doesn't protect them, you know, so we need to be able to protect the people that are involved.
Through his own grief, he became an advocate, forming the Her Story Foundation. Their main focus is getting Mary's Law enforced regularly in Nueces County. It requires suspected abusers to be GPS monitored and alerts their victims when they are close. Mary's Law passed in 2009. It was locally created, but never used here until this fall. Gary says Mary's Law would have been life-saving.
When she was driving home, because it happened outside, when she was driving home, it would have gone off before she got to her house. She would have not stopped. Her life would have been spared, and I don't believe David would have committed suicide.
Patricia's not the only one paying the price.
Jennifer Herrera, who was killed a few days afterwards, her attacker had a GPS monitor on. They took it off because he couldn't afford to make the payments.
His organization aims to cover the cost. Local judges are also advocating for funding to enforce Mary's Law.
What is the cost of a life? What is the cost of life? Is it $1,000? Is it $500? Yeah. Is it $10,000?
He thinks about Patricia's life every day.
Really, and for her case, it's about protecting future people now.
Janine Reyes, Action 10 News.
Her Story Foundation is a registered nonprofit raising money now so that funding doesn't keep the courts from protecting victims of domestic violence. For more information, log on to our website at kztv10.com.